somehow get qualified, because they don't give money to people with just ideas. You'd have to go, and then you could convince, because the city could do a lot with regards to a lot of areas of waste. So not just our collecting plastics to be recycled, but there's a lot of the recycling process is lost, never happens, because it's problematically been shipped over to China, right? That's what they used to do with it. They would collect our stuff, and then what they would actually do with it was just send it to China, and it doesn't act. And China doesn't do a proper job of sorting it, so it's filled with contaminants there, and it's sort of sold in bulk and dealt with in bulk. You can research these online and get much farther than I can tell you. But so there's a lot of changes in recycling and managing of materials that can be done before anything right here. And but in order to get into a position of power like that, you have to have credentials, because you could be a genius and it would take you 20, 30 more years before you achieved the position of power to enact your ideas. But if you get involved with studying it and have moderate credentials. I helped someone in public health, actually. She was already getting her master's degree in public health, and she wanted to stop. And I knew that she had a lot of ideas. In any case, she got her degree, even though she thought it was worthless, and she ended up being immediately involved in New Mexico, and then being involved after Haiti's earthquakes and things. And now she's from Kenya, so she moved back to Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Her dad was already, her family, her mom and dad met it's a different story, but what I meant is, with credentials, they give you the keys.
I know.
Because you're legit.
But I see that I need to start taking action now.
You need to do both. You need to do both.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it...
I'm going to go back to school. I'm in school, but I just need to figure out what I need to do to go into school. What is going to relate to, the whole purpose that I want. Because I want to motivate people, educate people, inspire people.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to be able to save the planet, save the animals, save the people, all in between. And
well, for sure, you don't. You don't need a degree to start doing those things. But if in order to, like this kid, he's not a kid anymore. He's probably in his late 20s. But he had the desire. The huge amount of plastic in the ocean. It's about there's many places where it's a tremendous buildup. Problem. But there's one in between the U.S. and China and Japan that's larger than Texas, I believe now.
what?
It's a collection of plastic that large. Because of the currents, it's kind of collecting it in the middle. So I had the idea, many people probably did, because I've worked in Alaska fishing, that you need to get a boat and go out there and make the boat
Nets.
And grab it, and then possibly process the plastic. It's very expensive, though, just to get out there. But he did it, and one of the ways he did it was because not only did he have good ideas, but he had a background in science and things to validate. And even then, I don't think it was very easy, because you need to get financiers on board, because people, even with great ideas, not everyone will just give you money. Unless you can at least break even or have some idea of what to do with it. Because there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of people with your ideas, and but it takes not only effort and things like you're doing, but it takes kind of a focus. So it's one thing to be standing here, maybe you have one or two good experiences, and I'm sure that's also has an impact. I'm sure you impacted the people you met. But if you have credentials, it's like you can get right to the hands on the steering wheel rather than running around and chasing the truck and things, which is good. But they won't give you could be the smartest person in the world right now, and it would be very hard to get a quick impact. But there are people who are trying to design pavement that is solar.
Oh wow.
You know, what a great idea.
Yeah.
The guy
that's a blessing.
failed. He said he didn't think he could make it, I forget, either cost effective. But there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of people moving. There's a car in England I just saw a story of that, and there are many such things where the people are not only are they green, but they actually produce energy.
Wow.
And like, so you drive your car, and and it actually creates energy. Then you can come home and plug your car into your house and use the energy. So it's cyclical.
Wow.
But these people have they study hard. So if you had this idea, let's say you're sitting around daydreaming and you say, well, we're surrounded by energy. What if how come my umbrella, if it were out of the right material, could be absorbing energy and I could plug my cell phone into it? And this is possible. But then you have to
technology
it takes
science.
Technology, and then you have to study
people and
the
resources.
reverse footprint, because this has a bunch of metals in it. My neighbor works down at Silver City and for a mining company that I'm sure is just, I've seen the mining company the last time I was down there, it's just destroying lots of,
Fuck.
right? But they need the copper and the metals to go in your phone, right? So how can you know how many of these phones are thrown away and they're
Yeah, that's why they started recycling them. I don't know why they didn't do them in the beginning.
Well,
thousands and thousands of them were thrown away.
Because the money is very it's easier for them to just make a new one than to
Break it down.
spend the money on recycling these.
No way.
Yeah,
No
but now,
way.
but if you figure out a way to recycle them cheaply, which is what they were doing was just sending all tons and tons of recycling to China, as I said, and then the trail ended there. Whether China didn't, and what China was doing was they were having people in really bad work conditions take the computers, take the money pieces out, and throw the rest into a landfill. You can go online and look these stories up. You'll see it's not make believe. But so that's all I have to say. Is I think you're on the right path, but without credentials, without whether it's going to be public relations, like maybe you're good at, they need a spokesperson for this. They need a person who can reach out to the public and represent the ideas. Maybe you have to study public relations and things like that. Or maybe you're the science, or maybe the idea person, or you have to find where it's like a big giant team, an athletic team. What are you, the quarterback? Are you the coach? Or are you the,
I feel like the voice.
the
Especially
voice? So your front office,
So
you're somehow.
I feel like I represent the voice for the environment. I like notice and start to feel things right away. Like I always think outside the box. I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I started cleaning the ditch, right? And I seen that on the ditch there was plastic, and I had to dig out plastic in order to get it. And I had to dig out a can that was rusted and full of rust just so I could get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God. So this is disrupting our plantation. I seen it growing roots through plastic. And I started to realize it's messing with our plantation. So I had a desire for plantation, along with cleansing the earth and cleaning the water, cleaning the streets. Also for the animals. The animals are chickens, pigs, and cows. They choose to pick those ones because they can't fight back for themselves. You don't see them going up to a cougar or a bear and trying to eat them because they could defend themselves. That's why they go to the defensive list. And that's why I'm trying to be a voice for the animals too. Because animals feel pain. They feel terror. They feel anxiety. And I believe that the meat is contaminated with all these terrors. Like they're born into a cage and they don't even feel their mother's love.
No, that's
And
very true.
yeah, that's why we're so unsociable. We're isolated, and that's why I feel like people have anxiety and ADHD, and they're developing cancers. They're developing disorders because of the meat we eat. And energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed or transferred. And if you think about that, that really sticks to the whole idea of how this is transforming. That's why we're developing all these weird disabilities. People back then who are older than us didn't have these disabilities that we younger people face. And it's because of the type of way they pollute our stuff. And that's truly how the system is like completely corrupt in a whole way.
Well, yeah, it's true that everything is connected, and it's connected to profit, to money, and time.
Yeah,
Because they can
and
make, if you can grow an animal
faster,
twice as fast, so on and so forth, and
Yep.
a lot of it has to do with, since everything is interconnected, animals that are fed hormones and to increase their size and productivity, you in turn eat that. So you have probably some pretty nasty stuff.
yeah, that's why we have these disabilities and disorders and dysfunctional things going on to us, because of the meat we eat. It's literally because of the meat. I believe it.
No,
And it's also because of the type of events people went through. Like another thing that you see a lot going on in our city is a lot of people been through some type of trauma.
well,
Yesterday was my dad's birthday, right? And I'm trying to celebrate his birthday in his life. And I was promoting and advertising everything I can on my phone. And I started a YouTube page and I was sending it out to everybody. I come out of my house and I instantly seen a dead body. And I freaked out because then I was like, oh my God.
Yesterday?
Yeah. And I realized, oh my God, death is real and my dad's really gone, and it sunk in. I was all happily talking to him before, but then it just messed me up emotionally. And then...
So he died yesterday?
No, not my dad. No, it was a body. It was just somebody else's body. But my dad's been gone 6, 7 years. And it still hurts, but it's just the fact that I seen a dead body in front of it. And then God, I connect to God too. I'm really spiritually awakened. He started to put the thing in my head that I need to start protecting the city from gun violence and also the drugs. Because that's the main thing that runs these streets and corrupts these people and brings them down. That's why they're homeless or lost or stuck. Because they're addicted. Everybody in my family is addicted to something. Except for one person in my family. No, my Auntie Diane. I smoke weed. It's addiction. And it's crazy. And I realize I don't use it for medicinal use. I know that it's a different way for me, because it could be a medicine to somebody else, but I realize I don't need to. So I slow down and I'm stopping because my throat's messed up and my mouth doesn't produce saliva anymore. And God gave me a voice and God, I really don't need you to take it because it's very powerful and I don't need him to take it. So he really told me I need to stop too. And
That's a lot. Yeah.
I know.
Well, I applaud you. I think
Oh,
you're on the
there's
right
two
path. But if the more you can refine how, it may take years. I'm not saying it's something that needs to be solved, if at all. I'm just remarking that with credentials, you get access to things you won't without them. That's all. So if you, I would say,
But
you
then
need
if
to
you
keep studying.
Yeah,
Your
but then if
brain
I
is-
study, then I get 1 degree, and then I'm worried that that's
Yeah.
not gonna be enough
you
for
may,
everything.
You may never, but that's not really the point of studying. The point is not really even what I'm saying is to have that, but it's to refine. You need to refine
The actual career.
or you may need a career.
I know. I'm like,
So,
but
you
I
need-
don't want to just make money. I
Right,
want to
well,
make
you
an
will.
impact. I want to change the world. That's literally what my whole purpose and goal is, to help one by one, one person at a time. If I convince one person at a time to do something differently, to not throw their cigarette butts, or to actually look into the meat industries, or to follow my page and go through my stories and go through the people that I actually follow and like support. There's a 13-year-old girl that convinced me to start coming out here and to start activating. She was actually on the slaughter farms. She was giving the the pigs' water because they're so dehydrated. They were foaming out of their mouths.
They
They don't
farming
care.
Industry is
Disgusting.
pretty bad.
It's
It's
horrifying.
right at the top of the problem. And there, but you know, as people desire, like I worked at Smith's here on Central, and as people want better food, the market will aim to give them better food. You know that?
On my YouTube page,
You have a YouTube page?
yeah. So I was recording. I got a bell pepper from Lowe's, and the first day that I cut into it, I seen that it had all kinds of black mold inside of it, and it didn't even look like a normal bell pepper. It was all skinny and scrawny. It looked gross, and I noticed it was injected with genetic hormones because I opened my eyes to the truth. If you open your eyes to the truth, you'll see that they are polluting us. Right there, it was rotten fruit that was brand new from the store for the first day. And it didn't look bad or anything, so I picked it out nicely.
Have you finished high school?
See, the thing is, I almost finished high school. I moved away and went to college.
Oh,
Started
okay.
taking college courses.
All right.
And I started hanging out with older people. And they started to influence me and impact me. And then I started, my teacher started giving me a purpose. And I realized I need to spread that with everybody. Anything I learn, I'll tell my friends. I'm like, did you know this is going on?
Right, right.
Because it's the truth. And my teacher was the best teacher. I had English composition with Miss Paula Consul Solgan. She's a Romanian teacher. She's the best teacher I ever had.
Good.
Because she made me grasp good concepts for the world, to see through the world, to see what really is going on in the world, and what I need to do with the world. She gave me my whole purpose just by that one class.
Good.
Well, I have 23 college credits.
All right. Well, so you have a foot. That's all I was wondering. Is you have a foot in the door, so to speak.
I know. I would have
So that's
graduated this month. I mean, this May, from Donnelly College with dual college credits.
good. Where's that?
It was Donnelly College in Kansas City, Kansas. I would have had dual college credits. I would have graduated this year.
Well, don't worry. I mean, you
But
can still do
I had
that.
to leave for
You
a
had
reason.
to leave. That's all right.
But
I don't think-
God gave me all that knowledge so I could spread it now. There's no reason for me to wait
No,
at all.
there's no reason for you to wait, but
I feel like I learned enough to start doing now. But I'm going to continue to learn. I put myself back in school. I'm going to start next month. They need 350 kids. I'm going to start at Albuquerque Charter Academy. It's a good school. I go there for like about 4 hours.